Hi, I'm Kane with Greater Des Moines Habitat for Humanity, and I'm going to be showing you how to build one of our GHI branded vanity cabinets that we sell in our ReStore. You'll also find these cabinets in our Habitat homes across Des Moines. Alright, now we're going to go over the tools that we need for our cabinet assembly. We're going to be starting out with a box cutter or utility knife to be opening up our packages. We've got a flathead and a Phillips screwdriver for cabinet assembly. Same goes for the drill. We've got wood glue and a brush to help spread around the glue. We've got baby wipes for any cleanup for the excess glue that comes out of the joints. We've got an optional magnetic bit tray to hold all of our hardware. I've got pencil, tape measure, and square for fabrication needs, and I've got a mallet to help put our drawers together. Let's get into it. So we're going to open up the box and get our material spread out. The front of this cabinet is painted and already assembled. The doors come pre-installed on most of the GHI cabinets. It's important that we protect the face of this cabinet. So I'm going to gently set it aside for now, and I'll show you how we protect our cabinet in the building process. Now that our box is empty, I've cut it to size to where it fits on the table, and this is what we're going to be using as our building surface. We're going to protect the surface of the cabinet by placing it face down onto our cardboard working area. Today we're going to be building a 36-inch vanity, and the reason for that is because it has a little bit of everything that our cabinets require for assembly. We're going to be showing you how to put together drawers. We're going to be showing you how to put together the basic skeleton of most base cabinets, and we're going to be putting a stiffener underneath to support weight from things that are going to end up inside of the vanity. Before we get started, I want to show you the main mechanism of the way these cabinets lock together. There are these white domes and these white clips on different faces of the cabinet, and there's a half circle metal locking mechanism on the inside. And what's going to happen is when we put these together, we're going to end up locking them in with a screwdriver, and it's a half turn with the screwdriver to lock the mechanism around the clip. As far as assembly goes, the first thing we're going to start with is glue. We're going to be putting a small bead of glue in every seam that wood gets butted up together in. Our side panels are going to be indicated by the toe kick notching in the bottom of it, and that's going to be the bottom of your cabinet. Now, a general rule for our cabinets is whatever color the cabinet is, you're going to want that color on the outside. So white on the outside of the cabinet, and we're going to use those clips to lock it in. I've got my glue down, half a turn, and you're going to feel some resistance, and that's how you know the lock is completely locked in. You do that to both sides. Make sure that your clips are flush with the cabinet face. That's how you know you have a nice seal. Now we're going to be putting in the bottom of our cabinet, and there's no seam for us to glue on the bottom, so we're just going to be gluing the two seams on the side. There's a shiny side to this panel and a dull kind of matte wood side to this panel. The shiny side is going to go on the inside of the cabinet because that's what you're going to see every time you open it up. Our next step is going to be putting on our back panel. There's 4 white clips that we're going to be securing into. First thing to do is check and make sure that they're all open. All right. Now I've got my back panel. I've pre-glued this seam here, and we're going to be placing it on top of the cabinet and locking it in. This part takes a little bit of finesse. I like to start by locking one side. That way you're not fighting both sides at the same time with the cabinet pulling. All right, now we've got our panels on. One thing to mention is that these come a long way in transport, and in that process, the wood can swell and warp. So a lot of times you'll be, I don't want to say fighting it, but you'll be working with the warpage. So that'll require some pushing and pulling of your pieces to get everything locked in together. But once you do, should be good to go. Now we're going to put the toe kick on, and I'm going to spin this cabinet around so you can see what we're working with. Here's our toe kick. It's going to be installed right under the face of the cabinet. Have it turn, feel it lock. Have it turn, feel it lock. Once we've got our toe kick installed, it's time to install our stiffener. This should be the last piece that you have in your box. For this step, we're going to want our tape measure and our pencil. What I'm going to be doing is marking the center of the cabinet so we know where our stiffener goes. Our cabinet is 35.5 inches wide, so we'll be making a center mark at 17 3/4 of an inch on the top and the bottom. The stiffener plate is going to sit right in the center, and it's going to get these angle clips attached on the top on one side and the bottom on the other side. Now, our toe kick comes all the way out to the end of our stiffener plate, but the back of the cabinet ends at about halfway through the stiffener plate. So the best way that I've found to mark these out is to take a pencil or a Sharpie and actually hold it in the center of the cabinet, and you can make a physical mark where the bottom and the top clip is going to go. That way, when we take this out and put those clips on, and we put this back in, we know that they're at the right spot in order to be secured. It's time to put our angle clips on. I've got a drill to screw them in, and I've got some of the screws that came in with our clips. When you're installing these angle clips, make sure that they end up flush with the outside of your stiffener plate. Now that we've got our 2 angle clips on our stiffener, it's time to install. We'll line this up with our center marks that we already have on there. All right, now that we've got all 4 sides of our vanity, plus the toe kick and stiffener plate in, we're ready to move on to building and installing the drawers. Each drawer is going to be 5 pieces. We're going to have the face of our drawer. We're going to have the sides of our drawer. One side will be branded with the GHI logo, one side will be fresh. And we also have our drawer bottoms. The first thing we're going to do with our drawers is we're going to put a dot of glue in each of these joints. On your drawer, there's going to be a seam, and that's where the bottom of the drawer is going to be. It's very important that when we put our sides on, that seam lines up on all 3 sides, otherwise our drawer won't go in there correctly. I like to start out by getting it hand tight in there, getting it as snug as I can, and then gently tapping in our side of our drawer. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Now that we have the 2 sides on our drawer, we're going to be adding glue in the 3 seams to hold our drawer together. Again, with the drawer, we have a shiny side and a matte wood side. The shiny side is going to be the inside of our drawer. This is the back of our drawer. We're also going to be putting a dot of glue in each of these, and as well as in our seam. For this next part, we're going to want the sides of our drawer sticking out just a little bit because they're going to be locking into this top piece. So we'll line up our seam with the bottom of the drawer. Get it tight. And there we have our drawer. I'm going to wipe out the excess glue from inside the drawer with a baby wipe. It's a lot easier to do now when it's fresh. Once that glue hardens, it can be a little bit more difficult to get off. Once we have our drawer assembled, I like to go ahead and take care of the soft closing hardware that gets installed underneath of it right away. So for the drawer clips, we're going to start out by putting these in the front corners underneath the face of the cabinet. The 2 green clips are going to be facing each other underneath the drawer. You can use either a Phillips head screwdriver or a drill with a Phillips bit in it to do this part. I personally like to use a screwdriver because it avoids any potential cracking and splitting of the wood underneath the drawer face. During this process, it's important to keep the clips tightly in the corner underneath the drawer, and that allows for the easiest installation of the drawers at the end. We don't want to over tighten the screws because that will still allow for the wood to split. So once you get it tight in the corner, try not to over tighten it. And there you have it. Our clips are on the bottom of our drawer. Now that we have the shell of our vanity built and our drawers assembled, we can put it all together. Each of our mounting clips have 2 holes in the side of them, and we're going to be fastening it to the back of the cabinet with a screw in each hole. Now that we've got our 4 clips in, we're going to be installing our drawer slides. The drawer slides have a left and a right, and the side with all of the drill holes will be going against your cabinet and on the outside of your drawers. On the back of the drawer slide will be a little groove, and that's going to be what gets installed into our mounting bracket. Another thing to note is that the front of our mounting bracket, we want to be flush with the front of our cabinet when all things are installed. Once you have all 4 drawer slides in, we're going to fasten them to the face of the cabinet by using some of our leftover screws. Time for the most satisfying part of the cabinet build, putting the drawers in. All we're going to be doing is resting the drawer on the drawer slides, pushing it all the way to the back, and hopefully that locks everything into place. Got our drawer. I like to start on the bottom, rest it on top of the glides, push it to the back. If you don't hear a click, what you'll do is you'll push the drawer slide in from the back until you do hear the click. All right, we'll test our drawer. Soft close function is working. Drum roll, please. Cabinet's finished. Thank you for watching and building with me. I hope you are enjoying your GHI products. If you or anyone you know needs some cabinets, go ahead and send them to our local Des Moines ReStores. Thank you for supporting Habitat for Humanity.